So the Kenevo, is it really the best big hitting e-mountain bike on the market? Let's go find out. Hey! Roof! Riders, welcome back to the channel, and what a strange couple of weeks it's been with this coronavirus. Look, it is the real deal. Bear and I are safe. We're not in Madrid, we're in Aldinga Beach, South Australia. Our thoughts go out to friends and family from Madrid, and riders, please stay safe out there. Listen to your local governments. If you can ride, then ride. If you can't, just stay safe and look after yourself. A few weeks ago, I had the pleasure of renting the new Kenevo, and wow, what a bike. I thought I'd go through my thoughts on one day out on the Kenevo. So for those of you that don't know the Kenevo, it's the hard-hitting super enduro downhill rig from Specialized, rocking 64-degree head angle, 180 front and back, and double crown forks. This bike means business. Riders, if you watch the channel, you know that when they released the new Kenevo around 6 months ago, I wasn't a massive fan. I would say the main reason would be because the Kenevo Series 1 was such a cult classic of a bike. Around 9 months ago, Specialized released the new Enduro, which has the newly designed suspension linkage. And look, for me, the Kenevo just looked like a bit of a souped up Levo. This bike is getting a lot of attention on Instagram. There's a lot of people buying the comp and doing full upgrades on it. Anyway, I had the opportunity to rent this bike from Wheel Rides and I just jumped on it. I really wanted to try the Kenevo for myself. First of all, let's talk about the motor and battery. The Kenevo comes with the Bros Mag S motor with a whopping 700 watt battery. It's a little embarrassing to say because I do have an e-bike channel, but I haven't spent much time on a Levo or a Kenevo, but wow, the Bros motor, thumbs up, man. In my opinion, it's a step above the Shimano. Look, I know I love the Shimano, it's reliable, it is in my decoy, but hear me out. The Bros has 90 Newton meters and the Shimano 70. Look, on paper, I was like, really, is that gonna matter that much? Trust me, it does. I did a little test with Julian, the Hucker, and just have a look at this. Okay, riders, with the Hucker, and he's on the new Merida with the Shimano Steps E8000. I'm on the new Kenevo, and we're going up for about 20% gradient, and we're both in boost. We're not using any of our body strength. We'll just watch how much more the Specialized has. So we're off. So it's basically, the Shimano's got 75 Newton meters and the Specialized has 90, and it's definitely noticeable. For me, riding the Kenevo for the day, it felt like, so if you're familiar with the Shimano motor, you're in boost, then in the Bros, it feels like you have an extra level of that boost. It is noticeably faster going uphill, and also, look, I only had one day on it, but this is what I felt. It felt like it used less power from your legs when you were pushing. You could put it in a low gear and spin up the mountain, or you could also put it in a harder gear and push up the mountains. And when you were pushing, the motor you actually pushed and you didn't need to put that much effort in, and the Bros motor would just spin over, like it would just take you up. And also, look, this is another thing this is my opinion, it seemed to use less power. I know we were rocking the 700 watt battery. Saying that, there's been a lot of people talking about 700 watt batteries over 500, and I wasn't really too bothered. But I have to say, having that 700 watt battery really was a benefit, because I didn't get that battery anxiety that I do get when I'm doing a long ride. This is another thing, we rode 50 Ks, and this is not a full test. This is my first day on the bike, and I don't like people that say that, they've tested the bike. You do need about 200 kilometers at least on a bike before you understand it. But I felt the decoupling of the motor, it felt like it had a little bit more drag than the Shimano, but Saying that, it is a Kenevo and it is 3 kilos heavier, the bike, so it could have been that. But I did feel noticeably when I got over the 25k limiter, it was a harder sort of, to keep the bike going, it was harder. I'd have to say, when I got on the Kenevo, I was blown away at how minimalistic it was. I mean, there's no display. You have, on the down tube, you've just got the power display, and it goes up to 8 battery indicators. And that's it. The only thing I missed was when it was getting close to decoupling. So I would have liked to have seen, like when I was about 24, because I found it, I was jerking, I was sitting around that 25, and when I'd go above the limiter, I kept on going above and below, and when I ride the decoy, I actually like to stay about 24, so I'm just using the motor and also getting some good Ks in. Okay, enough about the motor and battery. How does the beast ride? Wow, the new Kenevo is one of those bikes that you hop on and you feel at home straight away. Look, I felt like on my second downhill, I was pretty much full gas. And I'm not the type of person that does that. I take time to warm up to a bike. But that's what you get from Specialized. They know what they're doing. The sizing felt good. I just felt at home, and the bike just loves to party, man.
To the follow cam for Sam. Onto the Kenevo. Hey, roast! Now this is where this root comes up, see if it catches him out.
That weight of 25 Ks does seem like a lot, but riders, trust me, that weight does disappear. The bike feels super planted on the downhills, and it channels that inner World Cup racer in you. You want to get off the brakes and just rock. We rode a lot of off-camber stuff, and I'm not the best off-camber, but the Kenevo loved it. It's definitely tracking this off-camber trail way nicer. That's the first arse touching moment there. It's definitely tracking everything, tracking the ground better. I just feel there's more grip. It also, I'm a minion man through and through, but I found the Butchers 2.6 were really good, really good. I love the fact that the Kenevo's 27 front and back. Look, it's not a race bike. It's a fun bike. For the size and the weight, is still a very playful bike. Downhill, it's a monster truck. Gives you so much confidence, but at the same time, it's a pretty playful bike for the weight. Jumping, for such a big bike, you know, I didn't think it would jump so well, but man, I was wrong. You compress that suspension a little bit as you get into the lip and then just release, and man, the bike loves it, just flies. I found it a really easy bike to jump. One thing I did notice, if you're a smaller rider, I'm 183 and about 85 kilos on a good day. If you're a smaller rider, the bike might be riding you because it is a big bike. And when I was jumping, I noticed if I made a mistake, it was much harder to correct. So, you know, if you are a smaller rider, maybe it's not the best. So the word from the Spesh is longer, lower, slacker. And I have to say, I'm digging the new sizing from Specialized. Let's see if I can explain it. Look, traditional mountain bike sizing was all about how tall you are. With Specialized, they are more talking about the characteristics of how that rider likes. Does that rider like a longer reach? So longer reach is going to be more planted. It's going to make the bike just feel, it's more a race sort of style. Your weight's going to be over the front more, and it's more the modern geometry. But a shorter reach is going to be far more playful. It's going to help you throw that bike around. The new Kenevo starts at S2 with a 445 reach, all the way up to an S5 with a whopping 520. I'm 183 centimeters and I went for the S3. only because the S4 wasn't available. But when we look at the reach numbers, the S3 has a reach of 470 and my decoy is 475. So I actually felt like their sizing was really good for me. I've actually been riding a Merida 160M here with a 445 reach. Look, and I do like a longer bike, but I've actually been enjoying the shorter bike. It is more playful in the corners. It is easier to whip around when you're jumping. But I also did notice when it is really moving fast, it's not as planted. You don't feel as secure at high speeds. Look, I'd have to say with the sizing, I was a little bit disappointed to see the chainstays not changing with the reach. At this price point, it is an expensive bike, and it is an aluminium bike. It would have been nice to have seen, the chainstay change in length with the reach. Conclusion. I had an amazing day on the Kenevo. I really wish I rented it for the long weekend because I wanted to do more testing and I just wanted to party more. Anyone that's thinking of coming to Adelaide, give Will from Will Rides a call. He's a really nice guy. He has an amazing e-bike shop. He has a lot of bikes on offer. I think he's got a Levo SL, Kenevo, 160, all for rent. He said any of the viewers that are coming in, he'll give a 1-day rental price for the same as a half-day rental. So it's a great deal. Just mention Sam's bike. Will's going to sort you out. He's a lovely guy. So I had a lot of fun on the Kenevo. Great bike. Probably perfect for what we were riding. I was riding with some good riders. They were probably a bit better than me. And this bike really let me keep up with them and probably ride a bit above my pay scale. It definitely gives you that confidence, inspiring feeling. I love the Bros motor and the 700 watt battery. It really is, in my opinion, from what I've tested so far, the best motor on the market. And it really makes me want to test a Levo now. For the money, the Kenevo, there are far better spec bikes out there. But that's not what you're paying for when you get a Kenevo. Specialized know what they're doing. I mean, the parts that you get on this bike are pretty entry level, but at the same time, they're going to get the job done. If you're the type of person that really likes Kashima this and Kashima that, it's probably not the bike for you. Okay, so who's this bike for? Look, I reckon this bike is for someone that wants to go fast downhill, that maybe wants to go a bit faster than their skill set allows them, because it is very inspiring. Like, it does give you confidence, this bike. And it's also for someone that rides big mountains all the time. If I lived in the Alps or the Pyrenees, this would be a banging bike. How does it compare to the Decoy? Look, it's not really a fair comparison. They're different bikes. I've had a lot more time on the Decoy. They are different. If I'm going a 5-minute downhill, I'm going to much prefer to be on the Kenevo. If I'm doing like a 4-hour ride with a whole bunch of different things, I actually would prefer to be on the Decoy. The Kenevo is just such a monster truck. It really is inspiring, but at the same time, I found it not as fun and as playful as the Decoy. Those 3 kilos do add up, and they definitely help you in some parts, but they kind of hinder you in some parts as well. Riders, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Listen to your local government. If you can, subscribe, like, share my videos. It really means a lot, and I'll see you soon.